But how much I qualify for is a little bit tougher answer. Essentially we look at debt to income to figure that out. So we look at everybody's, whoever's on the loan, for example, we look at their gross income, and then we have to factor in what they have for other liabilities, but let's say we can use half of that gross income for all of their liabilities. So if they don't have any other debt, then we just look at that house payment being, 50% of their gross income, which is big. I mean, but that's also someone buying up to their max.
Yeah.
Up to that 50% mark. So, I like my own rule of thumb kind of is if you can be at a third of your gross income is going to your housing, I think that's a pretty good spot to be. Depending on what other debt you have, of course. But if just your housing is only a third of your gross income, I think that's a good spot to be in, good goal.
Sure.
Okay.
This one's not really a question, it's more of a comment to say,
my hair looks beautiful.
It was about your hair.
Wow,
Don't
thanks.
cut your hair.
Oh gosh, she's laughing.
To my life.
Aww.
That's amazing. I love it. God, I love our followers.
Thank you.
No big deal.
Shout out to Charity Mo's at District on 50th.
What is the difference between interest rate and APR?
I don't want to answer that.
All right, on to the next one. What's the difference between a fixed rate and adjustable rate?
Yeah, and I only joke about the other one. It's too hard to explain in a video. It's like it doesn't make sense without some numbers in front of you.
Can we contact? Or
yes, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
At the end of the video, his information pops up.
Give you a specific example on that. This one was fixed versus adjustable. So the most popular ARM products, and ARM just means adjustable rate mortgage, is typically our 5, 7, and 10-year ARMs. And that just means it's fixed for that first set of time, so 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years. The lower or the smaller that fixed amount of time, usually the lower the rate. So typically on average, the fixed rates are a little bit higher than the ARMs, because the buyer has a little bit more risk with an ARM. So adjustable means just that. It can adjust after that time period. Yeah. So if it's a 5-year ARM, it's fixed for 5 years. Year 5 years and 1 day, it can go up. Now, the nice thing with that, though, is there is caps on that depending on whoever, the investor that we're going to use for that. Typically, it'll only adjust 1 point a year, for example, and it'll usually only adjust, 1 point, and then it can only adjust every 6 months. So it's not like a daily or monthly thing. But that's the main difference, is just the adjustable period and then what happens after that.
We got time for one more?
Sure.
I think we do.
Okay. Last one that came in today is, how do you lock in your interest rate if it is possible?
I love that one, actually, because there's a couple answers to
Same.
this one. Again,
Me too. I love it so much.
Okay, so number one, if somebody goes through our Buyer Advantage program, which means we underwrite them ahead of time, so don't have a purchase agreement or anything like that, we can lock them for 90 days in that example, just on a to-be-determined property. That's a nice one. But on average, just if you don't do that, we don't lock until you've got an accepted purchase agreement. And then it does depend a little bit on your closing date. So like if somebody's doing new construction, for example, they might not be able to lock right away, type of thing. So
unless they go with that program.
I know, exactly.
See the last video.
Yeah. But our typical lock period times are 30, 45, and 60 days. If once we get past 60 days, it gets, I don't want to say dicey, but then we talk about potentially points or does the rate change because we're going longer, that type of thing. So, but I mean, a lot of contracts we see, have a closing date within 30, 40, 50 days, something like that. So a typical 60-day lock is pretty average, I would say. So, yeah, that was fun.
Cool.
That was me talking the whole time. Hi, everybody.
I was gonna say,
Thanks for coming.
Next time people ask me some questions, that would be really cool. Or just compliment my hair some more. I mean, we'll take it. Or ask me questions and compliment.
Yeah,
Shane's
I'll take
hair.
compliments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting a little gray.
It's getting a little gray.
A little salt and pepper.
Gosh, yeah, especially if you go back to our first videos together.
But don't do that. Don't look back,
looked
please.
like babies. I had zero facial hair.
Right.
Gosh, and it was so cringy.
It was.
Like, we were just so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And, like, we're here.
So we're doing a video today.
Today, I have Shane here, and he's going to talk the whole entire time.
Awesome. Go.
Thanks for joining me, Shane. Oh, the good
Just
old
like no
days.
interaction whatsoever. Just like take it away.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh.